Our movie starts with a girl named Blair. She's holed up all alone in an abandoned house. She hasn't seen another human in ages and is laser focused on keeping herself safe. She keeps an old walkie-talkie around, clinging to the slim chance that someone might actually reach out. One day, she sneaks out and finds this weird spot. It looks like an old shelter where people probably took refuge, but it's totally empty now. Blair heads inside and scores some essentials, like a water bottle and some meds. She bags them super quick, but then she gets that chilling feeling. She's not alone. Freaked out, she bolts out of there, no time to waste, and hightails it back to her hideout. Back in her routine, she eats, reads books, and keeps staring at that walkie-talkie, just wishing for a reply. Deep down, though, she knows it's a long shot in this wrecked world. Meanwhile, miles away from Blair, a guy named Tommy is fighting for his life too. Suddenly, dangerous creatures swarm the place he's staying. He just takes off running. During the escape, he drops his bag with all his supplies. He finds a safe spot and hides out without the bag, spending the whole night terrified. As soon as morning breaks, Tommy musters up some courage, goes back, grabs his bag, and decides to find a new hiding place. He's got a walkie-talkie too, and he tries to reach out. Lucky for him, his efforts pay off. He connects with Blair. Tommy tells Blair he's stuck up on an old barn with dangerous creatures lurking below. Blair quickly throws him a lifeline. There's a window in the barn, and he can use it to escape safely. Tommy listens, gets out through the window, and thanks to Blair, his life is saved. The next morning, he goes back to the spot, grabs his gear, and keeps moving. He radios Blair to tell her he made it safely, and she's thrilled, mentioning how long it's been since she heard another person. Tommy asks excitedly where she's at. Blair tells him she's staying in an old abandoned house. She explains she stays there to avoid people and the creatures, and she's just too scared to venture too far. Then, Tommy shares his plan. He tells her about a mountaintop where his family used to live. He figures it'll be safe up there, maybe even creature-free. Blair gets excited, saying she's tired of being alone and wants to go with him. She warns him, though, their walkie-talkie batteries are limited, so they can only talk 3 times a day. They agree to move carefully and meet up at the mountaintop. Blair quickly packs up and hits the road. Tommy starts his journey too, and soon gets really hungry. Tommy had some food, but he held back, knowing his journey was long, and saving his food now would prevent bigger issues later. Meanwhile, Blair is also pushing forward. She sneaks into an empty house, just hoping to find some food and water. With the world ruined, all the houses are deserted. Staying cautious and quiet, she starts looking for food. We even see Blair hunt a rabbit, which she cooks and eats. She also finds a pair of headphones and starts listening to music. In this silent, dangerous environment, the music becomes her only company. Tommy tries to check out an old bus, thinking he might score some food there. But when he peeks inside, he hears weird, strange noises. Freaked out, he immediately runs away and hides in a safe spot. A little later, he takes out his walkie-talkie and calls Blair. Blair asks if he's eaten, and he admits he hasn't. Blair advises him to use the empty houses all around to find food, but to be extremely quiet, because making noise could get him killed. In the middle of their chat, Tommy asks Blair where she would want to go if they survived and met up. Blair mentions her longtime dream of going to New York, a dream she shared with her family that never came true while her father was alive. She says all she has left of him is a single picture. Blair then asks Tommy for his story. Tommy replies that he's nothing special, but he keeps his father's necklace, which gives him a reason to live and hope. He shares his wish to return to the ocean, where he scattered his father's ashes to finally say goodbye if he survives this disaster. Blair listens and tells him it's getting late, and he needs to find a new place to sleep. They agree to talk again at 9 p.m. Blair continues her journey and reaches a deserted church. But then she runs into a strange woman. The woman starts talking weirdly, saying that the destruction is God's punishment for humanity's sins. Blair gets mad and argues that if God were real, he wouldn't let his own children die alone. She tells the woman to stop with the pointless lectures, then angrily leaves and continues her journey. Late that night, Tommy enters an empty house to find food. He finds a little bit after searching, but just as he's about to leave, he spots a dangerous creature. He runs in a panic, but he trips and falls and the creature is on him instantly. Tommy thinks he's about to die, but surprisingly, the creature just stares at him for a bit and then walks away without harming him. Tommy barely escapes and runs to hide in a safe spot, totally out of breath and his heart racing. He immediately grabs his walkie-talkie and calls Blair, describing the creature attack and how it just let him go. Blair is stunned and questions how that's possible, since anyone who's met these creatures hasn't lived to tell about it. Tommy, his voice heavy, reveals that the creatures killed his father, mother, and sister when they first arrived, and he was the only survivor. He laments that he couldn't help his dad and doesn't know why he should keep living. He starts crying, showing his desperation. Blair tries to calm him down, urging him to stay alive for her and to remember that his father wouldn't want him to quit. She tells him they have to be strong, reach the mountaintop, and trust they'll meet soon. They talk a little more, and then Blair continues her journey. She finds an abandoned, broken-down car and decides to stay in it for the night. Tommy finds a safe spot, builds a fire, and prepares to wait out the night there. The next morning, Blair wakes up and instantly spots a creature standing outside the car. Terrified, she doesn't have time to react before the creature attacks the car. Blair quickly scrambles out, and the creature lunges at her, but she bravely uses a piece of the window to hit it and manages to kill it. After that fight, though, she breaks down crying next to the car. After a while, she calms down and tries to contact Tommy. She tells him about the attack and how terrifying it was because it happened in daylight. She explains that the creatures are learning and evolving, which makes them much more dangerous. Tommy, sounding worried, tells her they need to move faster. He estimates he can reach the mountain peak in about a day and a half and tells her she needs to get there fast, emphasizing that they must survive at any cost. They both continue their journeys, clinging to the hope of meeting on the mountaintop, their final hope in this ruined world. Blair reaches a railway track. She sits there, takes out her camera, and starts taking pictures. Tommy, meanwhile, enters an empty house with a stable that still has horses. As he's looking around, a hungry, exhausted girl suddenly appears and demands his bag, threatening to kill him if he refuses. Tommy feels bad for her condition, but he can't give up his essential supplies, so he refuses. The girl gets angry and attacks him. Tommy quickly hides in a corner. But then, another danger appears. A creature spots the girl. Tommy runs away instantly. Unfortunately, the girl is caught by the creature and dies. Tommy gets away fast and tries to reach Blair on the walkie-talkie from a safe spot, but she doesn't answer because she likely turned it off. Blair hadn't escaped danger either. As she walks past the railway tracks, a creature attacks her. With no way to run, she prepares to fight. But then, an old man suddenly appears and kills the creature with his weapon. The man immediately takes her to his home. There, he treats her wounds and makes her tea. Blair asks him why he helped her. The old man smiles and says it was the only thing he could do. Blair asks if he lives alone. He confirms it, explaining that the creatures killed his wife, but he finds comfort knowing she's escaped this hell. A little later, Blair turns on her walkie-talkie and contacts Tommy. She tells him an old man saved her life. Tommy asks if she trusts him, mentioning that a woman had attacked him earlier and he barely escaped. Blair confidently replies that she trusts the man, pointing out that he could have left her but instead saved her, fed her, and cared for her. She muses that if they survive, they'll live on a remote farmhouse like this too, free from fear. Then, Blair's voice gets heavy as she tells the story of her mother. She describes how a creature attacked them while they slept, and her mother tried to stop it, telling Blair to run. Unable to run, Blair watched her suffer with no hope of survival. She had a gun with one bullet and used it to shoot her mother, explaining she couldn't watch her suffer. Blair starts crying. Tommy comforts her, assuring her she made the right choice because leaving someone in that much pain would have been wrong. Blair calms down and goes back inside. The old man, James, who had overheard her, tells her it took immense courage to do what she did. He shares that his wife suffered a similar fate and he failed to save her. He admits that his failure to save his wife is likely why he helped Blair, as he was finally able to save someone. After this, James gives Blair a bag full of food and supplies. He instructs her to head north where Tommy is waiting. He tells her to always remember that the house is open to her if she needs a place to stay, adding that he doesn't have much time left, but the house is hers until he's gone. Blair thanks him and leaves. Tommy is sitting alone, eating the last of his food. He suddenly senses he's not alone. His heart pounds and a creature attacks him from the darkness. Tommy fights with all his strength, but the creature is vicious. He spots a large rock nearby, grabs it, and slams it into the creature's head. The creature screams in pain and collapses. He immediately grabs the walkie-talkie to call Blair, but his battery dies. Blair wants to talk to Tommy too, but her walkie-talkie is also dead. Instead of giving up, she sets the dead radio aside and keeps moving. Tommy travels until he reaches a house and sleeps there. The next morning, a knock on the door wakes him up. He opens it and finds Blair standing there. Relief and happiness flood their faces. After months of struggling, this moment is a huge victory. They hug and talk for a long time. Blair says they don't need to go anywhere else. They'll stay right there and build their new world. Tommy agrees, saying they have nothing to fear as long as they're together. But their happiness is short-lived, as two creatures suddenly approach them. Panicked, they run inside and lock the door. Blair checks the window and points out that the creatures are now attacking in the daytime. Realizing they have no time, they quickly turn on the gas cylinders. As the creatures break down the door and enter, they ignite the gas. Moments later, a massive explosion rocks the place and the whole house burns. Tommy and Blair escape out the back door and watch their only shelter burn. But they haven't given up. Tommy says they'll just build another house, and Blair agrees. Before they can even fully relax, another terrifying sound echoes from the mountains. They look up, fear clearly visible on their faces. Tommy and Blair exchange a look, knowing this new threat is much bigger than before. But they also know that as long as they stick together, they can face any danger. That feeling of determination wraps up the movie. Will they survive this huge creature, or is this the end? That's something we'll have to wait for the next part to find out. Well guys, if you like this video, go ahead and smash that like button. Hit that bell so you don't miss the next videos coming up on our channel. See you next time.